Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today, we're jumping into some Choosing Beggars. Please check out the KCC Discord linked in the description down below. There you can talk to me and a whole bunch of KCC fans who hang out there on a regular basis. I look forward to seeing you there. This first story comes to us from Sky Moogle. Give me my senior coffee, even though I'm not a senior. Let's jump right in. For this story, let's do the setting first. I work at a fast food restaurant. I have seen my fair share of Choosing Beggars, often not too bad. They just want something extra, or something we don't have anymore, and they get mad about it. Like I said, it isn't too bad for what I have experienced so far, but this one guy really takes the cake. We offer coffee at a reduced price for people over 65 years. That's just a little extra we like to do for the seniors. This guy, we'll call him John Doe, I don't even know his name, came in one day and he was standing behind one of these seniors and heard he only paid the reduced price. John Doe was surprised when he needed to pay the full price. Mind you, John Doe is nowhere near 65. I explained to him why this was and how it works. He went off about how ridiculous it was that he had to pay full price because he was a hardworking citizen and these elderly people do nothing else than sit around the entire day. Meanwhile, the senior was still standing there while John Doe went on with this angry speech with some colorful language thrown in there. It was almost embarrassing. Then he threatened to come back with a lawyer and he would sue us. I am sure I will win this because this is discrimination, John Doe said. But off he went with his coffee and his newspaper. It took a while, but he eventually came back. Of course, without his lawyer. But again, he went on this rant, how unfair it was he had to pay the full price. John Doe explained how he went to another restaurant, which also belonged to the same franchise as mine, and he got his coffee there for the reduced price. I once again explained to him that I can't do it, because those are simply the rules I have to follow. He told me that he knew the supervisor of our restaurants, and my supervisor had promised him that he would always get his coffee at the reduced price. Next time, John Doe said he would talk to my supervisor and my supervisor would put me in my place. I am not an idiot, so after this happened and upper management came in for that day, I went to them and explained the situation. They said no, he has to pay full price, he isn't 65. Luck would have it that my supervisor came in on that same day and I told him about John Doe. The supervisor said, I don't give coffee at a reduced price to non-seniors, and even if I did, it would have been a one-time deal. A few months went by without ever seeing John Doe. Then our other restaurant closed down because they were rebuilding the place, so John Doe showed his face again at our place yesterday. Before even trying to order a coffee, he tried to recruit a senior to buy him a coffee so he would get it at a reduced price. The senior said he would, so the senior ordered himself a coffee and an extra coffee. I noticed this and let the senior have his coffee at the reduced price, but the other coffee at full price. So John Doe begrudgingly gave the senior extra cash so he could cover the entire cost. Afterwards, when John Doe left, I went to the senior and I explained the situation and how John Doe had been acting towards us. The senior already had a feeling something was going on because he's a regular customer and he knows me normally as a friendly type. Today, John Doe showed up again, and once again, he tried to recruit the same senior to buy him coffee. The senior explained to him he wouldn't do that and told him why. So John Doe was mad and demanded to speak to me. So when I showed up at the front, he once again went on a rant about how he knew the supervisor and he always got his coffee at a reduced price at the other place, and how ridiculous it is now that the other place is temporarily closed, he has to pay full price at our restaurant. I told him I spoke to my upper management and my supervisor and they both told me he had to pay full price. Then he really exploded. You're calling me a liar? I will now go to the other place and will tell them what happened here. And when I come back, you better watch yourself. Somehow, he still bought his coffee. This time, I was just done with him, especially because the other place is still closed for another week. So tomorrow, he's gonna be here again. So I once again told my upper management what happened, and how the guy has been acting. They were firm and said he has to pay full price, and if he doesn't like it and goes off again, you can kick him out. Meanwhile, they began to contact the supervisors and the other restaurant. And then the big twist comes. Turns out at the other restaurant, he does get his coffee at a reduced price. However, the current upper management there doesn't know how or why it's done, because it happened before they were there. So when I heard this, I felt my stomach drop. I knew he would be back tomorrow to yell at me again, and they're gonna tell me I need to give it to him at a reduced price. But no, I had it wrong. My supervisors told us that he would not get his coffee at the reduced price. Furthermore, the other restaurant is now going to also refuse to give it to him at that reduced price. My upper management will be in before opening tomorrow to handle this guy if he turns up. So I wonder how that will end. But there you see, if he just accepted the full price without going off, he might still have his coffee at a reduced price at the other place. Now, he has to pay full everywhere. This is the kind of thing where you're sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for an update from OP. However, OP did update in a comment and it says that the guy didn't actually show up the next day. So they're still waiting to see him again. I, for one, would like to encourage OP to take the opportunity and live stream when this customer comes back in. Because I know for sure there's a lot of people here at KCC and a lot of people on Reddit who would absolutely love to watch this guy get owned. Do me a quick favor and take a look down below the video. If that subscribe button's still red, it means you're actually not subscribed to the KCC channel. Please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. This next story comes to us from spoopiesparkles. Calling it a contest doesn't justify the short change. Let's jump right in. So, my local city board decided one of the smaller parks needed a new veterans memorial, but they don't want to go to the bother of professionally contracting one. Instead, they're putting their demands out into the ether and expecting some poor soul to do it for them. Here's some of the criteria. Must be professionally drawn or rendered, with a cover page including a short essay on why your design deserves to be chosen. Must be at least 10 square feet, but not exceeding 100 square feet. You may suggest a location in an 800 square foot area, but you do not get final say. Must research the cost of materials and assembly, and should not cost more than $10,000. Must include a detailed budget, as well as ideas for fundraisers to meet said budget. If chosen, your design will be legally owned by the city, but you'll get credit for the inspiration. All must be completed within 1 week because they didn't bother to actually distribute the information until a week before the deadline. And what's the prize for winning this contest? A $250 gift card. Never mind that I've seen furry art go for more money. This is a full-on contracting design commission, which, as far as I can guess, a job that big would be at least double to triple the cost of what they're offering for less than the price of a TV. And the city will own your design and will have paid you in an untraceable gift card. And the best part, they're mainly targeting high schoolers and college kids who don't know how insanely suckered they're being. Small town politics are so freaking scummy, I swear. This one really hits me. They're saying, hey, let's honor the veterans, but in the easiest and cheapest way possible, and let's screw over some kids while we're at it. Just as an added point to this one, something you need to look out for online is that most of the photo competitions or Photoshop competitions designing things, when you enter them, you're actually giving up the copyright to your images or your works completely. So whenever you enter a contest online, make sure you read the fine print, because giving up your copyright is dumb. But most content promoters know that you're not going to read that fine print, and all of a sudden, they have all of these images and all of these works to use however they please and to make money from however they please. Just something to keep in mind. This next story comes to us from Hyacinth0788. Previous employer wants me to drive to office to sign a document they need as it's too costly for them to drive to my place. Let's jump right in. Hi everyone, I wanted to share my experience of a choosing beggar at my previous job. If you don't think it belongs here, let me know. So I had resigned from my job back in November giving the 1-month required notice. As part of my job, I occupy certain positions for clients that the company which I worked for serviced, and some of these require the regulator's approval for any replacement. It may take time, so I agreed to remain on for around 3 to 4 weeks after my last day at the company. I was doing it without any benefit or pay. I also pointed out to them that I will be busy at my new job and may not be available for signatures, hence they should replace me ASAP. Despite this, they took all their time to seek the approval. Around 2 weeks after my last day, I got a call from one of the staff working there saying they needed my signature in wet ink on a document which was urgent. My new job was in the same area as the old one, but we were working from home. I was going to the office on the day after and we agreed that I will drop by to sign the document. Unfortunately, someone tested positive in my new job who has been to the office. Hence, the building was shut down for the next few days to sanitize. I informed the staff and requested him to arrange for the dispatch person to drop by my place or to have a taxi drop by. This is reasonable, as my new job regularly does this for documents to be signed in original. The staff checked with the relevant department and they said that I live quite far from the office, so they cannot arrange for the dispatch person to drive there and a taxi will cost too much. FYI, I live around 30 to 40 minutes away. They requested that during my lunchtime, I drive there to sign the document or I meet them halfway. I was very annoyed and basically told them, you need the document and not me, and I am not gaining anything from this. I also said that I do not work there and I'm just doing a favor, and that for them, it is too costly to send someone to my place for their business, but then for what reason I should use up my petrol for their benefit. They eventually sent someone to get the document signed. I never realized people could be this way. Now, OP added a quick edit onto the bottom of the story. It says, a lot of persons are mentioning that I worked for free. The positions I occupied required very little of my time, otherwise I would not have accepted. 1 or 2 documents to sign per week, which I did online. I also did not have much choice. Most leavers accept this, and the owners can be quite petty. They have lots of connections in the industry, and I wanted to avoid leaving on bad terms. Before commenting that it was stupid or foolish to agree, please try to understand that sometimes we do not have the choice. Some employers try to take advantage of people, and unless you have powerful backing, you kind of accept it if it's not a big deal. Otherwise, it might cost you more. Now, there's a quote in the comments down below this one that we've actually seen on numerous stories in the past, and it really fits this one. It says, failure to plan on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. Also, I'm not sure where OP's from, but here in North America, Canada, the USA for sure, we have some labor laws that state that we don't have to work for free. So, OP, you could provide them with an invoice for your consulting fee for like $250 an hour with a minimum of 4 hours billable, and see what you get out of it. You might be surprised. This next story comes to us from Abazri. Told my former friend that I will call child services on her if she keeps asking for money for food. Let's jump right in. I had this friend, female 31, let's call her P, who always asked for money. I did the stupidest thing and lent her some, which she took far more than what we had agreed on paying. She also never paid me for services I did for her, which we also agreed would be paid, and she will never pay me back when you paid and I'll just transfer you, etc. So last year I had enough. I told her no. She insisted and our friendship died there. I had no contact with her, but my boyfriend occasionally plays video games online with her husband and a group of friends. One of those friends, let's call him A, is living abroad and he's visiting for 10 days. Conversations were being held about getting all of us together. A is a very dear friend of mine, so I would sacrifice dealing with P for a night to see him, since he has 10 days to visit every friend and family member. They wanted to meet today, but A needed to quarantine until his PCR test comes clean. My country's rules, it's normally 12 hours since you land. So since he hasn't got it yet, there is no meeting tonight. I am also a teacher on school year, so I said I'd rather do it on a weekend, and that was being discussed too. So P and her husband text us to check when boyfriend and I will be coming tonight. They just assume it would be at their place, They normally do it so their kids can eat whatever we order or bring. I said we were not coming because A, cannot make it, and it's a school night. My boyfriend's phone rings and it is their kids on speakerphone talking all excited and asking when we are getting there. This woman has the audacity to tell her kids right there and then that we will not be going, and since we are not bringing food, they will not eat dinner tonight, and hung up. Let me tell you, I lost it. I called her right back and told her, among a bunch of other very unpolite things, that if she ever uses her kids again as emotional blackmail for money or free food, I would call child services, since the kids have 2 sets of grandparents with financial stability, and it's not my or the kids' fault that they do not know how to handle money without burning it on stupid things. They went on a month-long vacation to an all-inclusive on the holidays. It's one example I can give you. She also got angry and said that it was just a joke. I am livid. You know, OP, I probably would have made that call anyway, because it takes a very special kind of stupid person to use their kids like that against somebody else, and then threaten the kids with no food as well? I mean, who does this? It's not a joke, it should be taken extremely seriously, and that call should definitely be made. This next story comes to us from Dreamer of the Sky. Bride wants me to create her entire wedding art for exposure. Let's jump right in. Okay, this happened a few years ago, but I thought you all might get a kick out of this, back when blogs were the bomb and Book of Faces was not as popular as they are today. A bride wanted me to create her wedding art. In the past, she had purchased a few things from me before she had gotten engaged. Some small paintings, signs, fun stuff. When she would come to my studio to pick up the work, we would chat. I'm super friendly. We would chit-chat a bit, exchange money for art, and then she would go on her way. That is it. For her wedding art, she had big, grandiose plans. She wanted wedding signs, table centerpieces, gifts for the wedding party, gifts for her parents and in-laws, gifts for her guests. Roughly 100 people for the big old barn wedding. 20 bridal party people. Then her family and in-laws were another 8 people in total. She would also like a big painting of the barn she is getting married in for her home. Thomas Kincaid style, with the wedding date on the art piece naturally, roughly 30 by 46, if not bigger. She had the wall space for it. She really did like my art. Oh, and she would like me to do all this for the exposure of the event. No money, just exposure. Tra-la-la-la-la. Yep. She was a PR person, so her big plan was to blog the entire wedding process. Oh, to hear her tell it, it was going to be fabulous. And in depth and behind the scenes of the wedding of the decade, which would include her finding the dress, exercise program for her and the bridesmaids, moving in with her fellow, getting a dog, aw, me making art for the wedding, her mother and father coming together after a painful divorce for her wedding, blah blah blah. Seriously, she was looking at a tab of maybe $8,000 worth of work out of me, and I was going to be a blurb on a blog of her wedding extravaganza. The dog was going to get its own page. She blew a fuse when I declined. I mean, exposure is nice, but paying the light bill is nicer. She had a big old bride meltdown too. Cried, wailed, screamed, and snarled. At one point, she made that sound a tea kettle does when it's ready. I don't know how she did that, but it was impressive. Not to be defeated, she had her mommy call me, had daddy call me, had sister call me, all screamed at me for denying her my art and time. I don't think anyone had ever said no to her before. Can you get to the age of 25 and not hear the words no? I know I sure did not. For a while there, I thought no was my first name. I told them in short to F off, but you know I said it all mean professional like. They pestered me for about a month before they finally took the hint. I never blocked them, I just let them rant to my voicemail, drove them even crazier. She did invite me to the wedding though, aw, how sweet. No +1 though, ceremony only, no reception. Then she told me I could make her the centerpieces and the large painting as her gift. Yeah, a loophole, lucky me. I passed, sent nothing as a gift. We are not friends. I'm not going to her dingbat wedding, thanks. But if I was to be honest, I kind of wanted to go, I did. I really wanted to dress in my art studio ripped jeans and t-shirt outfit. You know, the crap that if my mom saw me wear it, she would tell me I looked like a hobo. Then, once she saw me, I had this dream of handing her a $5 gift card to Starbucks while I cracked a beer and walked away. But A, she wasn't worth the gas to get to the ceremony. Why bother? Much better to just stay home. In the end, I heard about 50 people showed up to the wedding as she and her family were driving everyone nuts. It also rained on her wedding day too. Big fat rain too. The run to your house deluge kind. Not all day, but enough it made the barn leak a bit, so it was a muddy, gross day that was unseasonably cold to boot. They must have been fun to hang in with a cash bar, huh? I never checked her blog out. A mutual acquaintance said that it was a single page with a few pictures, not nearly the fantastic real-life expose of a young bride I was promised. Think more like a school project that you got a C for. The acquaintance also told me the wedding photographer was a no-show because she did not pay them in advance. Yes, she asked for a discount too. She never paid the upfront fees, so the photographer canceled on the event. The entire ceremony was recorded by the guests' iPhones. I think they were iPhones. They were the early video phones for sure. Oh, and you will love this. She asked for a discount from the caterer because only half of the people showed up. So I guess she felt like only paying for half of the food. I'm not sure how that worked out in her mind. She didn't get that, of course. I know the caterer. She was paid in advance and she does not do refunds. She will also not give you the time of day if you annoy her. I like her. The bride was divorced within a year. Hubby left her for one of her friends. I think she was one of the bridesmaids. Don't quote me on that. All I know is she came home to the dog and all of his stuff gone. He also took my art with him. You know, the stuff she had purchased from me before she got engaged. Hahaha, I guess they both liked me. It has been years since the big wedding. My days of doing wedding art are long behind me, as I now sell in galleries and such. She still calls me from time to time for art. She hears the price I quote and then offers me half. The other half will go to paid promotion on social media. I decline. She is marked in my phone as do not answer. You know, normally you'd feel bad for somebody when their husband leaves them for one of their bridesmaids, but in this case, I think I can understand why. So when you're in the process of planning your wedding and it turns out that your spouse is turning into a really crazy person, bossing people around and all that stuff, that's your chance to step back and go, I'm dodging this bullet, bye-bye. Because one thing people need to realize is that how your future spouse treats other people is going to be how they treat their own kids in the future as well, or at least a part of it anyway. And do you really want somebody like that raising your children, creating little Karens for the future? Check out all 5 OPs linked in the description down below. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.